win my murder case, Dre leaves, Tupac get killed, Suge going to jail, Death Row want to kill me. All my cars was in Suge Knight name.
Wow.
Get pulled over, police. Yeah, Mr. Knight. Who? I'm not Mr. Knight.
Wow.
Death Row looked at me as like a traitor. The next day, actually I had to fly back home from New York. And normally on a private plane, it'd be Pac, his security, me, my security, Suge, and a couple of his homies. This time I go to the airport, my security walking with me. Suge like, hold up, they can't roll.
Well, before he was hosting Puppy Bowls with Martha Stewart, Snoop Dogg helped propel Death Row into hip-hop's premium label. However, his time on Death Row wasn't necessarily the smoothest. Between cross-country feuds and Suge Knight's hostility, Snoop's leap to No Limit in the late 1990s was a crucial move that undoubtedly saved his career and his life. During his recent appearance on 85 South Show, Snoop Dogg reflected on working with Master P following a tumultuous time at Death Row. Snoop said that Master P ran the program differently compared to Suge Knight, who owned everything that the Dogg-style rapper had. He also revealed that the monstrous Suge wanted to take him out. But just where did the once-adored Death Row artist cross Big Suge that made him want to kill him? Sit back and relax because you are about to get the facts.
Suge Knight recently said he used to be a superstar and now he's just a no-limit soldier. What do you say to that?
And he used to be a CEO, now he's just an inmate.
In recent years, hip-hop has overtaken rock to become the most popular genre of music in the world, according to Business Insider. Hip-hop's most prominent stars fill stadiums, and recordings go multi-platinum, while the influence of classic hip-hop that required little more than rhymes, hooks, and loop beats can be found everywhere, from chart-topping pop songs to the sound of today's indie guitar music. But though hip-hop has never been bigger than it is right now, there is one era that, for many fans, will define it for decades to come. The early 1990s, when the biggest rappers of the day were reaching new audiences, and not always for the right reasons.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Death Row family on both sides, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Much of the media attention on the fledgling music style was concentrated on a small group of artists and their management at one of the most notorious record labels in history, Death Row Records, co-founded in Los Angeles by ruthless CEO Suge Knight and top West Coast rapper and producer Dr. Dre. The label released a series of G-Funk classics that still exert an unprecedented influence over the genre today, starting with Dre's The Chronic of 1992, newcomer Snoop Dogg's Dogg-Style of 1993, and Tupac's final studio album released in his lifetime, 1996's All Eyes on Me. But while the artists and executives of Death Row Records were, at the time, some of the biggest names in hip-hop, harmony between them would be short-lived, as seen by the increasingly bitter feud between CEO Suge Knight and one of the label's biggest selling stars, Snoop Dogg.
And when I had my vision to get in the music business, my whole motive was to work hard and be the best at it. So I treated this like it was a football team. My background is athletes, for us being athletic, being on a football team. So I looked at it, well, it's gonna be like a training camp.
Snoop Dogg's gangster credentials have never been in doubt. Before becoming a central player in West Coast gangster rap, Snoop was an affiliate of the Rollin' 20s Crips and served prison time for drug possession while still a teenager, according to his biography. As such, his experiences authentically informed his music on both albums he recorded for Death Row Records, as well as the appearances he made on The Chronic, which first brought him to prominence, and his guest spots on numerous other gangster rap records. Under the leadership of Suge Knight, Death Row Records soon became a deadly caricature of itself, one in which no one could be sure whether art was imitating life or vice versa. Knight himself was imprisoned in 1996 after being found guilty of racketeering, while the murder of Tupac, a crime in which Knight himself has regularly been implicated, saw the gangster rap bubble burst. Snoop's own brush with the law in the 1990s seemed to have a reformatory effect on the young rapper. Having been acquitted of a murder charge in 1996, as reported by the Washington Post, Snoop reflected the new maturity of his second album. "The Dogfather was a rebirth of me. I'm not gonna glorify none of this negativity that Death Row wanted me to do. I'm gonna bring a positive side of music, Snoop said. The same year, Snoop left Death Row Records and hell broke loose, with Suge Knight locked up for 6 years and Death Row Records already looking like it had reached the end of the line. Snoop Dogg moved base to join Master P's No Limit Records and turned against his old label boss in the process. I was working against the devil, and through the grace of God, Master P and Priority Records put a deal together that was suitable for me, argued Papa Snoop.
Album with Pharrell.
Yeah.
You did an album with Master P.
Yeah.
You
I did 3 albums with Master P.
3 albums.
Yeah,
with
when I
Master
left Death Row Records, I signed with No Limit Records, which was the hottest rap label in the industry.
This is true.
When I signed with No Limit Records, they was the hottest in the rap industry. They was the only niggas getting money in the industry.
Such quotes began a war of words between the two former affiliates, with Knight giving quotes to the media from prison. Snoop turned to dissing Knight on tracks such as Pimp Slapped, while Knight released Dead Man Walkin', a dubious compilation of Snoop's own unreleased Death Row material, the title of which was intended as an overt threat. But although Knight claimed upon his release in 2001 that it'll be like the Wild West all over again, I got plenty of scores to settle. The two reconciled in 2005, following Unify the West, a Snoop-organized summit designed to squash beefs. Snoop was on red alert, his life was in danger, Suge felt he betrayed him, and he had to hire security 24/7 to watch his back. He even said the infamous words, "Death Row wants to kill me." But thankfully, in due course, the situation was contained. While Snoop Dogg built the foundation of his legacy at Death Row Records, the rapper says the label damaged his spirit. During a recent discussion on the 85 South show, the Dogfather recalled how moving from Suge Knight's Death Row to Master P's No Limit changed his life for the better. He recalled dropping Dogga Style, the Dogfather beating his murder case, Tupac getting murdered, Dr. Dre leaving, Suge going to jail, the label putting a hit on him, and how it all messed up with his inner self. Famous soldiers, for real. Organized, structured, Snoop said of No Limit. Them niggas didn't play, and P was serious about his business. The Compton rapper added that Master P told C Murder and Soulja Slim not to take him to their respective hometowns of Calliope and Magnolia projects, but they did anyway. I'm violating, but then I'm listening, then I'm watching how they not listening. Then I said, I'm not going to be a bad student. I must stop doing what they doing, Snoop explained. He continued that Master P gave him his first house and car under his name since everything he owned before was under Suge and Death Row. When Carlos Miller acknowledged Snoop's humility for agreeing to start from a low level again when he already had a name at Death Row, the rapper explained how his time at the label was distressing. But I wasn't, Snoop said while talking about whether he was thinking about the success he already achieved at Death Row. My spirit wasn't that. See, that's what you gotta understand. Niggas broke my spirit. That broke me, man. They broke my spirit. Look, Dogga Style, working on Dogfather, win my murder case, Dre leaves, Tupac gets killed, Suge goes to jail, Death Row wants to kill me. That's all in the same year, but that's all in the past now. In 2013, Snoop and Knight were seen in a nightclub, leaving many to believe that they'd moved past their issues. In an interview with Flag TV the same year, Snoop opened up about how he was able to move forward. It was a meeting of two great minds that realized going at each other would just lead to two dead minds, Snoop said. Snoop also explained that the two have a mutual love and respect for one another, with Snoop giving Knight credit for starting his career and Knight returning the appreciation for what Snoop did for his label. According to Snoop, it was also a business decision as they realized they could potentially do more great work as a team. He also spoke about his rekindled friendship with Knight during a 2017 visit to the Breakfast Club. At the time, Knight was in prison on murder charges, and Snoop explained that he and Knight had been in contact via phone. Snoop said that looking back at their past beef, he has a better understanding of why Knight made certain decisions and behaved a certain way. It wasn't never that he hated me. I just think he was disappointed that he couldn't control me. When you got a record label and you got artists, I've done this before, he said of Knight. You really want control of that artist, but some artists deserve their own control and their own lane, and you gotta give it to them. Though Knight remains in prison, Snoop says he's open to working with Knight. There have been rumors of a movie about Death Row Records, and Snoop has said that he'd only participate if the story is told through both his and Knight's eyes, as he claims the two were the most central to the label. And that's not all. Recently, Papa Snoop went ahead to buy Death Row, with the hope of reviving it to be the once giant label that defined West Coast rap. Following the move, Suge Knight's son spoke with TMZ about the rapper Death Row Records from the Blackstone investment firm MNRK Music Group. Suge Jacob Knight considers Snoop's ownership of the label co-founded by his father to be a victory for the West Coast, which he considers to be in need of a win following the recent deaths of local icons like Nipsey Hussle and Kobe Bryant. Knight Jr. said he was aware of the acquisition being in the works. He confessed that he even approached the label's previous executives about rebranding Death Row, but nothing came from his pitch. Knight believes people created the non-existent narrative of an ongoing feud between Snoop and Suge, adding that he's just happy to see the label in the hands of someone from the West Coast again. It feels good to have ownership of the label I was part of at the beginning of my career and as one of the founding members, Snoop said in a statement. This is an extremely meaningful moment for me. Snoop has since moved on from the rocky past, and his explanation and view of his beef with Suge tell it all. The real cools. We had a long 3-4 hour conversation one time. When I seen him, I was kind of slipping, doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing. And he slid up behind me, and instead of me reacting the wrong way, I just went into my regular mode. And I'm gonna lay up Boo to the side, and me and you can go upstairs and meet. And we got caught up on some real love. So yeah, it is some real love right now. Do you think Snoop and Suge should work on the proposed project together? Join the conversation by leaving your opinion in the comments section below. And that's it from us today. Until next time, bye.